Yeah, what's going on? Just checking in here with the mid-week report. James Bell of the Boxing Source here with you, and wanted to go through a few things here for the week. As you know, we are looking ahead to what's going to be happening on next Tuesday and next Thursday, as Top Rank is going to start off with their events over in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. It will be, in the ballroom, so to speak, over there in the MGM Grand. So it will be closed to, the media and all of that. Um, like I said, the MGM Grand Conference Center ballroom. I haven't really been in that ballroom area in over 6 years for any type of event. But they're able to, hold a small ring, a ring type or boxing type of arena in there. And so that's what they're going to do for these fights that are coming up, for the couple of weeks ahead, June 9th, June 11th, June 16th, June 18th, and then we'll get news on more events as time goes on. But I'll be going over that while waiting for a guest to see if they'll be able to join in with us in the conversation because they want to talk about a few things here in the sport of boxing. Say somebody that I've been familiar with over the past 3 years or so. So I wanted to get them on to, kind of talk about, what they do and who they're affiliated with and, different things in reference to the sport of boxing. So hopefully they're able to join in. But, for the time being, wanted to talk about the events that are coming up starting on June 9th, excuse me, June 9th, with the headline bout being Shakur Stevenson. They're going to face Felix La Sombra. Yeah, La Sombra Caraballo. Um, that Shakur Stevenson was slated to fight at the Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden on March 14th, Saturday, March 14th, with a WBO featherweight title defense. He was, going to face Miguel Mariaga in that particular fight card, but did not end up having that happen. So he said, basically he was going to be featured as the first fight back once, everything has been approved. And so they did that here with Shakur Stevenson facing Felix Caraballo. Felix Caraballo is there 13 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws with 9 KOs. This fight will not be at the featherweight limit. It will be at the super featherweight limit. So Shakur Stevenson is not going to be able to defend that WBO featherweight championship in this particular fight. Okay. There's been, talk about Shakur Stevenson staying at 130. And with him staying at 130, he'll end up relinquishing that WBO featherweight championship. And then that featherweight championship will be vacant. Pretty much, talked about this. And that leaves it for, the top contenders to fight out for the vacant belt if it does, become vacant. And the thing about that is you would have, you would have Mick Conlon there. So I'm going to see if I can get my guests on here. They should be on right now, checking in.
What's up?
And got my guy, Coach Floyd Seymour. What's going on, my man?
Not much, man. How you be? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good, Coach Floyd. Doing good. Wanted to get you on here to talk about a few things. First off, we had like a little bit of a conversation about your fighter that you do train with, but I also want to get into something else that you were talking to me about how you train fighters, and pretty much going into the science of the sport because it's a sweet science. So you got to be able to study all styles within the sport of boxing. So
Correct.
first off, I wanted to get into that a little bit on how you kind of train fighters to adapt to any style in the ring.
Okay. Like I told you before too, my whole thing is like, if you look at Emmanuel Stewart, the way he trained his fighters, okay, there's almost like a science to the way that masters train athletes. When I say masters, I mean every coach feel they're the greatest, they're the best coach. They should feel that way, especially by what you learn.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like you pick up knowledge from around the world, or you just pick up knowledge as you go by, And I picked up a lot of knowledge. As one of the first teachers I think I've had as far as coaching, learning how to coach, was Gary Russell. Okay, now I always take my hat off to him. I mean, Big G is Big G.
Right.
And me and Lil Gary, we went to the '88 Olympics. We went to the 2008 Olympics. 2008 Olympics and 2007 Olympic trials, and the nationals and the power tournaments, and just going to just to touch on to answer your question. Before I even answer your question, I'm trying to tell you how all of that had to come about.
Right, the background, right.
Okay. I was Gary Russell's strength and fitness coach back in 2006, 7, 5, 6, 7. And working with Lil Gary was like, man, him and his brother Alan, the other brothers were like really small. They're like 12 and 13. They were kids during the time. But Lil Gary was 17 or 18, and Gary and Alan was like 15 and 16. So we were pretty young. They were pretty young. And, going to Olympic trials and battling in the Olympic trials. And he lost his first fight. And now he had to fight out of the losing bracket. He had to fight 6 guys. And also he had to fight the guy that beat him. He had to beat the guy twice.
Right.
So, I was a part of all of that. And just being a part of all of that and watching the coaching style and watching the mental focus and the discipline that he had to go through and being a part of his coaching team was like, man, it was unbelievable. But it was nothing compared to what was about to happen to me, because we went to China for the Olympics, but Gary got sick. He couldn't fight in the Olympics. And the Bahamas boxing team made me their Olympic coach for the Bahamas. So about 2 months later, we went to India. And I'm sitting down with all of these coaches from around the world at the Commonwealth Games. And this Indian coach, he's like, hey, I worked with Muhammad Ali back in the day when he was Cassius. And this Indian guy was like, oh, here all the way down here. And he's telling me all of these coaching moves and stuff with Muhammad Ali. And I'm looking at all of these athletes around the world. From Australia and England and Canada. And all of these coaches was doing something different. And I'm like, wait a minute. Every time the Americans go to the Olympics, right now we're not doing well at all. Okay? And this happened since Sugar Ray Leonard days, after Sugar Ray Leonard and I think Andrew, what's the dude's name? The last gold medalist for United States. It's like we can't win a gold medal for nothing. Right. Chris Shields, Clarissa, she's a little different. She's definitely different. She's a girl. But for the guys, it's so extremely hard. And I kind of trying to figure out why it was so hard for the U.S. team to win medals. So while we was at the World Games, and I'm looking at all of these different athletes and coaches, they're not fighting the same way. They don't fight the same way no more. Right. Some guys are moving. Cubans are like this. Cubans doing all of this. Ukraine, they come in like this.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? I mean, American fighters coming like this. And you take an American 18, 19-year-old and put him in a ring with a guy who been to 3 Olympics. How he's going to win? How is he going to beat this guy who already been to 3 Olympic Games in Ukraine? And then even Lomachenko, we used to the World Games. I mean, I'm at the World Games in Azerbaijan. Me and Errol Spence, me and all of these guys, Jamal Herring, we sitting at the World Games, and here comes walking by Lomachenko. I'm like, whoa, Vasily Lomachenko. This was before he turned pro.
Right.
But the problem was everybody was fighting different. During the United States, we didn't like, as far as in the amateur status, grasp on that different style of boxing. Yeah. So that's where I came up with my concept. It's like, okay, to fight different people, you have to fight them different, because when you're a coach in a corner and you see your fighter in the ring fighting, first thing you say, okay, he's moving this way, moving that way. And you throw the right hand, throw the hook, throw the uppercut, bang, got it. But if the guy in the ring if the opponent does something totally different, once you come back to the corner, you're gonna have to regroup and say to your fighter, okay, I need you to go left, then go right, then go left. But if the guy you're fighting keeps switching up, now he's a problem, because he's winning rounds after you go. Right. So my take was trying to figure out how to beat these guys every round. So my fighter, even that I have right now, Kobe, I mean, every round we try to win every single round. And if you're going to stop the guy, you can stop the guy. And I mean, it's funny. I mean, right now, Kobe has had 15 fights. He's 15-0. And he's perhaps won almost every round that he's fought. I mean, every fight he won unanimous, okay? But at the same time, my thing is not even just winning unanimous, it's winning every single round. So really, I mean, I don't really want to touch on too much as far as the fighting styles of the fighters, simply because every coach has their own way how they deal with it, their own method. But at the same time, with coaches, we do know if the guy going left or right, we have to figure out, okay, how do you stop him if he go left? If he's boxing you, how do you stop him from boxing you? And, I mean, with me, I picked it up just traveling throughout the world and throughout the U.S. And it started off from hanging with Lil Gary and the Russells. Because, like they say, I mean, they're just, if you ever watch any one of the Russells box, from Antonio, Antoine, Gary, even Allen, straight up, they run, like they say, pressure bursts pipes, okay? Pressure. The pressure would take you out the ring. Right. So you have to be able to fight a guy with pressure, or if the guy's not bringing pressure, you have to figure out how to beat these guys. And for the coaches, it's up to the coaches trying to give our students the knowledge to try to have how to beat these guys.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting that you mentioned that your time, being in the World Games and, Commonwealth Games or the Olympic trials, and, seeing these, other fighters from other countries being able to, defeat many of those, from the U.S. Because of, their fighting style, number one, and also number two, and I kind of bring this up a good amount of times when it comes to the heavyweight division, is that there isn't that many people going into the sport here in the U.S. at an early age. You see, because a lot of times those in the other countries pretty much start very young, and then they get into,
unfortunate, we're kind of fortunate and unfortunate. Like I tell people all the time, boxing is a broke man, rich man sport. You broke today, rich tomorrow. At the same time, back in the day, to go to college was extremely hard. So you didn't have that many blacks going to college. If you were a big black dude and you play basketball, 2-to-1, you're gonna end up being a boxer. Well, you football, you didn't go to college, you're gonna be a boxer. But nowadays, we're pushing our kids who go to college. So you can't find that many big heavyweights because the kids are going to college and they're going to play football and basketball and they're coming out making some good money. So now it's taken away from the heavyweight game. So you're not going to find that many heavyweights. But in different countries, they're grooming their athletes to become boxers. You know,
Right.
they're paying their athletes. I mean, America is one of the only places is not really paying their athletes, grooming their athletes. A lot of the foreign countries, they're grooming their athletes from kids.
Right.
Just like how they're sending them to school for basketball and football, they're going to school for boxing. You know, I mean, in Ukraine, you know, Kazakhstan, they're going to school for boxing. In Russia, they're going to school for boxing. And like when I was in Dominican Republic, DR, man, they're going to school for baseball.
Right.
I mean, you see all these kids baseball. Then you would see the boxers. And, you know, the lifestyle is so hard. And it's like you grab a young kid right now who went to college and he's out of college and got a scholarship and trying to get a good job. Let's say he's 19 or 18, 20, 21, okay? Just got out of college. Yo, man, you want to be a boxer? You're a big dude. You're like 6'5" and you're 220 pounds. You'd be a great boxer. First of all, how much they paying? No, well, they ain't really paying nothing yet. Dude, I just went to school, college, got a great scholarship. Dude, I'm getting to go make this money. So that's what's happening. He's going to make this money. He's not going to go into boxing. But in a foreign country, they will go into boxing because the money is not that hard. You know, it's not that hard to, it's not that easy to make the money. So they try to find an easy way out.
And there's, you know, more options for, you know, young men here other than boxing than compared to other countries, you know. Like unless if you, you know, like you said, basketball or soccer or football, you know, internationally, then boxing is, you know, their next you know, option. While here, that's completely different.
Okay, I've been coaching now over 20 years, 21 years. Back in 2004 or 3, I had this great heavyweight. Matter of fact, I had 2 great heavyweights. But one good heavyweight played football. Boom, done playing football. I put him in the Golden Gloves. He won the Golden Gloves. I put him in the regionals. He lost in the regionals. He quit boxing. He just couldn't take losing. On top of that, he had a great job. He said, man, coach, I'm going back to work. I'm going back to my job. To this day, he's a fitness coach. He coaches fitness. And that job, he's still working at the very same job. And every single time he sees me, he's like, man, I should have stuck with boxing. I should have stuck with boxing. Dude, your time passed. He was 26 then. Right now, he's like 39.
Yeah.
His time passed.
Yeah, it's past.
It's past. So what I'm saying is that, and the other heavyweight that I had during that time, he's making 6 figures at his job. But he was a great heavyweight. He was banging. So I'm like, yo, let's do this. After a couple of sparring sessions, he's like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm going to go back and make that money. Guess what? To this day, he's still at his job making his money. He's about 37, but still wishing that he gave it a chance. So really, I tell a lot of people, it's like, man, you only have one life to live. Is either you're going to go after it or not? Because boxing, you know, you can't be, you have to give it a shot. You know, and like I tell a lot of kids, you got to dream big. And when you stop dreaming, that's it. You got to dream, man. You got to go after your dream. Chase your dream. Chase your dream. So everybody that I talk to, all athletes, chase your dream. Dude, you know me. I'm originally from the Bahamas, right?
Yeah.
My story is simple. 88, I tried to make the Olympic team. I got hit in my arm with a machete, street fight in the Bahamas. Couldn't go. Couldn't go to the Olympic trials. So I waited till 92. I waited for 92. I went to the Olympic trials, won a bronze medal. Me and this guy, Chris Johnson from Canada. Now I'm getting ready to go to the Olympics. The Bahamas boycotted the Olympic team, didn't send me. I'm crying, I'm mad because the Bahamas didn't send me. Come to America, okay, with Sugar Atlantic Management Team. Got Jinx Morton and Larry Donald and Shambe Mitchell. Still pursued my career. Today, I'm right here as a coach. I have athletes, I have fighters, running a gym. But it started off at 9 years old in another country. Just by me chasing my dream, I'm here right now. But a lot of people, imagine after the Bahamas boycotted the Olympics. If I say I just hate it, I don't want to do this no more. Stop. I would have still been in the islands right now. I'd have been in the Bahamas mad because we quarantined, trying to get a job. Maybe I'm 5 kids.
Or with that hurricane that went through there, man, that.
Yo. I mean, what I'm saying is, I already went around the world and back, from Panama, from Russia, from Dubai, from England, from Canada, from Mexico, all through boxing. If I didn't chase my dream, I would have stayed in the islands. None of this would have happened. So that's why I tell people, chase your dream.
Yep. I feel you on that. And yeah, the sport of boxing could, like you said, take people around the world as long as you stay on it. Because, like Zab Judah told me, you don't play boxing or you can't play boxing, So that's something you got to be able to go 100% on all the time. You can't slip on that.
1996.
You gave those examples of the two heavyweights, man, and that's
me and Zab Judah in Brooklyn, New York. We're at Gleason's gym. Zab was an amateur, trying to turn pro, or maybe had his first fight or getting ready for his first fight. We're in the gym. He's running around there. I'm like, this little dude, old Zab. Remember Kevin Kelly?
Yeah.
Me and Kevin Kelly used to have skipping contests whenever I see him. We're going at it.
Right.
Who could jump rope the best? Time flies. Flies, bro. Flies. I mean, from Roy Jones, getting ready to go to camp with Roy Jones. And getting ready to go to camp with Roy Jones, but he's fighting this guy, David Salasco. And me and David in the gym training every day. And they was like, Floyd, man, I'm going to bust Roy when I fight him. I'm like, dude, whatever. I'm flying to Florida to train with Roy. Remember when Roy played basketball and box the same night?
Yep.
I'm not, dude. If you look at the camera, look at the people walking into the ring, I got a mustache and walking Roy, going to the ring with Roy. But time flies, man. You got to, I tell people, you got to pursue your dream, man. You got to chase your dream and dream big. And boxing, like you said, boxing not a play sport. You look at martial arts, okay? Just to jump back on the thing you was talking about earlier. Martial arts. Every time you see a martial artist, he's doing a different style and technique. Boxing, the exact same thing, styles and techniques. You have to figure out your opponent and how to beat this guy. And what I learned is when I was younger, I trained so hard. Bruh, I don't care how hard you train. I don't care how many miles you run. I don't care how many push-ups you do. If you're not smart in the ring, you getting your ass whooped. It's that simple. The smartest guy wins the fight. Who's smarter wins the fight? Because the smartest guy, like Mayweather, he's so super smart. He trains, get his body right. While you're eating, he's training. While you're sleeping, he's training. While you're thinking about training, he's training. Then when he gets in the ring, he already figured out how to beat you just by watching the style of how you're fighting. Smartest guy wins the fight.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, man. And that's something that kind of that Gary Jr. Pretty much says. He's like the one that's like the most intelligent, in the ring usually wins the fight because it's basically a chess game. When you were talking about, those times when you go into round by round, like you said, you got to adjust to what the other person's doing. You out there, you're actually teaching your fighter the next move to make, and actually you're putting your piece out there on the board in order to move. And once they move, then the opponent moves. And if they make a better move, then you got to come back, regroup, and then make the next move. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah. It's funny how you say chess, because, dude, if I get around Lil Gary or Allen right now, put a chessboard. Pull the chessboard out, let's go. Yo, we be there for hours playing chess. I hate playing chess with these two dudes because they would not stop unless they beat me. And if they beat me, boy, you some scrub. No, I'll let you win, bro. You know how coaches go, right? Coaches were like, yo, I'll let you win to keep your confidence up. No. Like, okay, whatever.
I should slip that story out too. See what he says, man.
Man, yo, you tell him I crush him on chess. If you say that, then you start cursing. Floyd, man, yo, we've been playing chess forever. I mean, I'm to the point I don't know how to play no more, for real, because it's like I don't really have nobody really that I want to play with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even with Kobe, I created my chess moves in the gym. So instead of showing moves on the chessboard, I'll just show them in the gym. So I kind of move off the board into the training aspect, you know?
Right.
Because every boxer, I mean, I could look at any fighter and tell you what style they're fighting or what their best punches are or where their weak spots are.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go, oh, hell no. I'm like, dude, because I've already been studying. You've been studying styles. And you might call it a shoulder roll, but I might call it something different. You know, you might call the guy boxing, but I might call it something different. But whatever I call it, that's what it is that everybody's doing. You know, that's what you're doing. And that's what I figure you're going to continue to do. And very few boxers you see switch styles up. I mean, yes, Gary Russell is one. Definitely Lomachenko does it. Crawford kills it. Even Errol Spence does it. He has about 3 different styles. I haven't seen that many people with more than 3 or 4 different styles. You know.
Right.
But what I do, I teach 7. I teach 7 styles.
Right.
You know? True. And if you can master all of those styles, you're the man.
Yeah, exactly. Now going into, your fighter there, Kobe Abridi, like you said, undefeated there around the featherweight division, pretty much 15-0. He had his last fight against Titus Williams. He was originally scheduled to fight Eugene Lagos over in the MGM National Harbor on March 14th. But man, that was like a crazy scene.
If any fighter knows how to feel to be in camp for 2 months, and while you laying in bed, your coach comes to you and said, man, you can start eating. He said, what? He said, man, here's some food. He said, but I'm weighing in tomorrow. Nah, dude, just eat. Why are you telling me eat? I don't want to eat. I just tell him eat, man. Fight got canceled. Broke down, started crying, hurt, you know. But it's a sport. It's what we do. I mean, it's not. That was the first time that's ever happened where either a guy pulled out or you train someone, you know. And it's being professional as a professional athlete. It happens, you know. It's got to keep moving on. But definitely, Kobe's going to crush that kid, man. He'd have been 16-0 right now. He might sort of stop him. Yeah, Kobe might sort of stop that kid. You know, and it would have been a great fight because it was a TV fight on Fox.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
it was going to be a TV fight. You know, being put in that position, and the thing is, he's trying to move his way up.
But you know
in
what?
The featherweight division.
Yeah, but you know what? To be quite honest, I mean, when what makes good fights is have good fighters. What makes good fighters, 2 good fighters fight. If one fighter is really good and this fighter's it's high, but you can see he's much better than him, which I thought Kobe was going to run through this kid. So right now, my whole thing is seeing Kobe fight the best fighters out there. You know, title holders. I mean, like I said, within 2 fights, you need to be fighting for a world title. A couple of the people already moving up the weight division. I mean, like Gary Russell, I think he's moving up.
135.
Stevens is moving up. Santa Cruz on, so a lot of belts going to become vacant. And that's a good thing because now it leaves room for a new era of fighters to show who they
Mm-hmm.
are, you know.
Yep,
So
you'll be able
that's
to, weed out everybody pretty much there at that featherweight division. Like you
yeah,
said, I mean, all you would have left as far as like established fighters are the likes of Josh Warrington, Kate Galahad, Claudio Marrero, and the guy that Gary Russell fought in February, too, Sutton Bayard. So they'll still be out there. But as far as like anyone known or notable, they won't be there. All of them are moved up. Carl
yeah,
Frampton moving up, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that leaves the featherweight division wide open right now.
Wide open for new faces. And I definitely think Kobe will be one of those new faces that people see. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, they call him a Black Pacquiao, basically. Black Pacquiao, because he never stops. I mean, we can call him soldier, but he never stops. And the ring, he never stops. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he can get knocked down, or you never get tired. You just keep coming, and especially in sparring. I mean, God, I mean, and that's the thing about it. When it comes to sparring, it's like, dude, you win every round in sparring, but whoever you spar with, and that's the key to one of the keys to boxing. That's like what Sugar Ray Leonard used to do back in the day. He used to be crushing people in sparring,
Mm-hmm.
and that translates right over into fight game. You know, so hopefully, I mean, but this is a funny time in boxing. This is a funny time in the world because man, we get to
Yeah.
face it. Coronavirus, everything is shut down. Fortunate for him, he's with me, so he can still train and he can still do stuff.
Right.
A lot of
Still be
fighters,
in that, be in that mode, because sometimes it's very tough to, get off that, get off the training regimen and then get right back into it.
yeah,
We talk about the thing with some of these fighters, depending on where they are in the weight divisions. But we brought up Errol Spence Jr. And last year, Errol Spence Jr. had his fight with Mikey Garcia. And then after that fight with Mikey Garcia, he had the fight with Sean Porter. But
correct.
during that time, he went all the way up to 189 pounds before getting down to 147 to fight Sean Porter. Now, I say that Errol Spence is basically a guy that's a 160 or 154 guy fighting at 147, but still getting to that point of almost 190 pounds. Like you can't slip like that and then expect to get yourself worked up to get down to that 147 pounds and be able to perform at your optimal level. You can't do that. So, with you and Cobia, you make sure that he stays focused, he stays, within his, weight range so that you don't have to take that much time to get him down to the weight that he needs to be. He just focuses on fighting and fighting styles.
Right. But you see, the difference is this. When you broke, you hungry. You broke. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
I give you $10 million, $5 million right now, bro. Your life changed. Now, with that change, is how do you control your lifestyle? You need really strong people around you. You need mentally strong people around you because you can blow up in weight. You can get out of sync, off track. And while you're slipping, you get all these hungry dudes coming to try to get you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing what people don't understand, with Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather has been around since 96, 97 after the Olympics. This 2020. That dude is the last of the dinosaurs. I mean, Roy Jones gone. I mean, Lennox Lewis gone. Mike Tyson gone.
Bernard Hopkins gone.
Hopkins gone. And it's the on and on. But Floyd is still here because he had those people in his life. His uncle, his dad. You know what I'm saying? Elby. He had those people around him who've been doing this, kept him on sync, and I mean, that's what Errol Spence. He just need those people around him to keep him in sync. That's what all fighters. You need people around you if this is what you're going to do. If you're going to say, okay, well, I just want to win a title, and after 4 years, 3 years, that's it, I'm good. Hey, that's good on you. You know?
Right.
But to gain 20 pounds and lose their weight, that's crazy.
Yeah, and with Spence, that can't really be the thing because they're kind of building Spence to be the next guy. You know, after Floyd, particularly in 147, they're trying to, because of the way that they have their stable of fighters to where he can fight this guy and it's a big fight, that guy and it's a big fight. They're planning them to fight Danny Garcia. And then after that, you know, maybe match him up with, Manny Pacquiao. And then after that, Terrence Crawford. But if you keep doing those things, yeah.
Danny Garcia is still on point.
Yeah.
But now you go to Manny Pacquiao. It's still on point. Paccio's the man, still on point. But I mean, he has a bumpy road though. He is a bumpy road for real because he got to get through Danny Garcia first. Yeah. You know, and Danny Garcia is a good fighter. You know, but Danny's getting old, and it's his lifestyle. Because think about it, we tell fighters is the way you live in the ring and the way you live out the ring. It's life in the ring and it's life out the ring. How do you carry yourself? And as Danny was carrying himself good with his dad, and not only that, imagine if Danny Garcia beat Errol Spence. Is it a shock? People would say, oh, he was in a car accident, this happened, blah, 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 blah. Dude, but Danny Garcia is a good fighter. I mean, shit, anything can happen. You really gotta watch what you do when it comes to Danny Garcia. You know?
Yeah.
He can crack.
Right. He can crack, you know? And that's the thing that, Errol Spence got to watch out for. And him and his trainer, Derek James, they got to, look for those stuff. So they got to, like you say, with styles, you got to be able to adapt to the style that Danny Garcia has for you.
Looking at that. I mean, one thing with Errol, I would say, because, me and my guy, we fought Errol in the amateurs and at the nationals and also in the trial. Errol can adapt to styles and fights. You know what I'm saying? But it still comes down to, how did the accident affect him? How did the car accident affect him? Because, spawn right now is one thing. But when you take the headgear off and you get a trauma to the head, getting hit in the head, that's another thing. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was banged up pretty bad with that car accident. Fortunately, he's still alive, but that's hard, man.
Yeah,
he's about to go on another car accident. He called it another car accident. He about to go fight Danny Garcia. That's like getting in another car accident.
Yeah. That was, very damaging car accident. And for me, I just think that he, not only was he very lucky, but the thing is like he still had like some pain within his body where up to, I would say, December, January, he still was having some issues with his back and, movement and stuff like that. So going from that particular point to now 6 months later, and then trying to prepare yourself for a fight against Danny Garcia, that's going to be, very tough.
When the fight is in August? When is it in August?
I think it's going to be around August or September. Okay. It might be, but they haven't, put in an exact date for it yet.
Man, it's up for him and his training team, and it's like, it's really hard to say. Right now, like for any fighter, it's the best time to fight Errol Spence. This is the best time. If you want to get a time to fight him, you fight him now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you fight him now. Even like Sean. If Sean had a rematch with him, this would have been the time to get his rematch. Fight him now. But not to say that he's weakened, but really for him, you haven't seen that many world champions that were in really bad car accidents could come back not just win the title, to keep going on with a really good career.
Right.
Not that many champions have done that, you know. And a lot of times it's why? Why? I mean, for you to go on and fight to be undisputed or continue fighting, you know, it's like how long you want to do it for. And that's another thing with boxers is what's after boxing? What's your life after boxing? You know? I mean, my thing is, you know, when I was in China and I was on the Great Wall of China and I was like, man, I finally got it. I wasn't supposed to be like a world champion. I was supposed to have a lot of world champions. So, okay, you're a world champion, you got 1 or 2 belts, 3 belts. Okay, great. You have money. What else? Give it to kids. Help the kids, man. There's so many young kids out there that needs help, that needs to be stimulated, to be mentally pushed, to be helped. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's one thing I kind of like what Manny Pacquiao does. When he go out to the kids and to the people and help the kids. And, you know, I mean, maybe a lot of other fighters are doing it right now, which, you know, I saw Floyd was doing some stuff and I don't know, maybe Errol is doing stuff. But I mean, that's what we do. We're look out for the youths, man. Look out for the youths of the day. You know,
Yeah.
you keep fighting and you hurt yourself and now you can't hardly talk. You got issues. Why? Because you're a back accident and now you're fighting and possibly hurt yourself again. When there's
Mm-hmm.
so many kids out there that need help, that you can really help. So when it comes to boxing, that's me. I'm always on the flip side of it. You know, how long do we do this for? You know, because boxing do hurt. If anybody box who know boxing, it do hurt. And if you ever met a boxer who been in boxing for a long time, too long, you'll be able to tell they've been in boxing too long. You ask them a couple questions. First of all, the nose might be like this. Or them say that again?
Right.
Too many fights, man.
Yeah, too many fights. And it's like, you know, some of those folks in football that have been in football too long, that they be in pain every single day. You know, so that's like damage and long-term damage that they got to deal with. Now going back to, you know, you and Kobe Breedy. Now, of course, you know, me and you have the Bahamian connection. And Kobe Breedy, you know, being there from Barbados. Like, how is it to, you know, kind of like connect with him and kind of, you know, be out there as far as like representing the Caribbean? Because, you know, we haven't really, you know, seen that much, you know, as far as like representing, even though Errol Spence Jr. has Jamaican background, you don't necessarily, you know, see him kind of like pump Jamaica like that all too much. So, you know, with Kobe Breedy, he's almost like somebody that could be like a Livingston Bramble from back in the day. You know what I mean? So, like, how is it to like kind of like have Kobe Breedy not only representing Barbados, but representing the Caribbean in the boxing ring?
Man, it's, you know what, man, it's almost like a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's special to have him because he was a military dude. Kobe's in the military, man. And, you know, it's funny because I met him in India. You know, we became better friends in Panama because he won a silver medal in Panama at the Pan Am Games. Then we went to Ecuador. Then we became really good friends in Russia, you know, in Azerbaijan, at the World Games, and moved to America, went to Scotland together for some fights. So mending and bonding with Kobe, it's like a brother from another mother. You know what I'm saying? Like a son, in other words, like a son. And I think really he's going to do some good things for the Caribbean, man. I mean, Kobe is headstrong, mind strong. Right now, he's the best athlete out of Barbados. Right now, we've been pushing to have Rihanna to come try to sing us to the ring for real, because try to get Rihanna. But you know, it's like a road. You know, when we first started about 3 years ago, it was like a fast road on a slow road. So me, being a boxer, I already know how these roads go. Fast road, you're gonna be over like this. Slow road, you build up your fan base, you build up everything, you meet people, you take the slow road. So we was like, okay, let's take the slow road. We've been with Gary
Mm-hmm.
Russell and Russell for about 3 years, sparring, training every single day. Now we're not with them anymore. We're on our own, just doing our own thing and traveling and fighting. And I'm like I was just saying, I mean, hopefully within the next 2 years, you'll see Kobe is the next featherweight champion. And right after that, he's moving up 130, 35, perhaps possibly 140, you know? And
True
I
that. True that.
think when he does things like that, I think then people would say, okay, this kid is true, you know? And put it this way, I mean, when you look at American boxing, if a kid wins a title, you're like, okay, who's this kid? This kid just won a world title. Oh, he's just another African American kid just won a title. Okay. But when you say, okay, this kid just won a title and he's from Barbados, you don't see that many Caribbean islands, young black kids winning titles. You know what I'm saying? Like one or Livingston Bramble or so just to have him in that set is kind of special. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're training with Barry Hunter, we spar with Sean Porter, he's sparring with all of these world champions from Jamal Herring. He's Shakur Stevens. I mean, Kobe's just in the gym just training, man.
Yeah, feel you. Now, I wanted to bring in my guy here that's been, watching, our conversation, Brother Matthew Brown, the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, and yes, the new president of the Clarissa Shields fan club. Man, what's going on, man?
Clarissa Shields, what's up, man? How's it going?
Coach Floyd, the legend.
What's going on, bro? Man, hey, let me tell you this joke with Clarissa Shields. Me and Clarissa was in Puerto Rico, man, when she's like amateur, still amateur. Okay, and we was at the fights, and Clarissa, we're staying in the same hotel because I was with the Bahamas team and she's with the American team. She's like, why you in the Bahamas? I'm like, yo, I'm with Gary them, but I live in the States, but I'm still a Bahamian coach. So it's always, I'm like, yo, Clarissa's the best, man. That's my girl. She's the best.
What was she thick back then too?
Say that again. Heck yeah, man. I mean, that was 2011, I think. 2011 or 2011. 2011. That was not long ago.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't that long ago, man.
Not that long ago. She's still Carissa, man. She's still her. You crazy, bro. Was she thick? Hey.
But Coach Floyd.
Yeah, man.
I feel like I ask you this every time you're on the show with JR. The Mexicans have Cinco de Mayo and they have Mexican Independence Day.
Okay.
The Puerto Ricans got Puerto Rican. Why are you guys going to Labor Day for Caribbeans, man? You want to build a Caribbean? Turn Labor Day at Juve. You got Labor Day parade, and you got your guys boxing.
Yeah, like, tie a weekend to it, you know what I mean? Like for Barbados Independence, well, you can't, necessarily have something, during the crop over weekend or like the last Saturday in July or that first weekend in August. Maybe not, but something kind of leading into that might work.
We're looking, to be really quite honest, that's something to be definitely looking into. Trying to do something because it's hard to do something before leading up to the crop over because everybody minds on crop over.
Yeah.
Maybe after it's done, maybe the 2 or 3 days after it's done, we can do that. You know what I'm saying? Even in the Bahamas, I mean, we have Junkanoo. And Junkanoo's huge. I mean, put it this way. People are preparing the whole year for that one special time. That one time. And if Kobe were to fight right after crop over, it's like he has to continue doing it every year or make it such a big special event. But you don't have that many Barbados boxers keep up the pace. In Mexico, you have a lot of Mexican fighters. Puerto Rico, you have a lot of Puerto Rican fighters. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to do something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think something in reference to, having Kobia featured in a fight, the weekend after crop over would kind of like build his profile, number one, and then get his, name out there more towards, those in Barbados that would want to, continue the, tradition or, the lineage of fighting from Barbados.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that, should be considered is, try to get something organized for Kobia to have a couple of fights or one fight or two over in Barbados around that particular weekend. And then once he builds that international base, then he could, do something here in the States more and, get something going. Or, like we said, try to build him up here, get him to part where he can win a title, and then once he wins the title, then have a fight over in Barbados.
And that's the whole game plan. That's the whole game plan. I mean, Kobia is this close to. I mean, this last fight on March 14 would have been that fight to start shooting him up there. But right now, we have something else that we're kind of working on right now that might work out for us. And I don't want to say what's actually getting ready to happen. But hopefully his next fight should shoot him up to that point to get ready to fight for a title. Because, like I said, the change of the guards is actually getting ready to happen with a lot of fighters. So we need the next face of the featherweight division. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully he become one of those faces. Because he's at that time. I mean, he's 15-0 and he's ready. That's kind of what we're looking at, man. Right after that, we could go to Barbados, go around the world. Really, it's a world champ. I mean, not just Barbados. I mean,
exactly.
How many times Manny Pacquiao fought in the Philippines?
Right. But for someone like like Kobia, who you've been around since he was a youth, and me being around him for a few years, and we see like what can be done with him and how he can connect to people, particularly here in the Washington, D.C. area. So he could build something here and he could also build something or build a following in Barbados, Correct. So I just, see that he could end up being a very successful fighter inside the ring, performing and from a marketing perspective as well. So that's kind of like why I bring that up.
Right. And it's still, too, it's like how you looking to market him, how we're looking to market him. Because right now, I mean, being a Asian fighter, but like, I'm going to say this one more time. Dude, we just had 3 fights last year. We fought twice at the Barclay and one at the MGM. This year, we're supposed to start off at the MGM on Fox TV. But the coronavirus happened. So now that's set everything back. Set everyone back. So now, hopefully, we're trying to get ready for something hopefully soon. And now from there, we have to keep going. Because the thing about it is, one thing with boxing, man, a lot of fighters, you can give them a lot of bum fights. Just they step up, they get whooped. You know what I'm saying? And you can build a fighter to be 20-0, 25-0. Just he fights somebody who can fight, that's it. He's gone. 2 fights, his career is over. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is with Kobia, he can really fight. I mean, kid can fight. And I'm just saying that because he's my fighter. I mean, we're in the gym, and almost every world champion that spars with him, that trains with him, comes and says, dude, you can be a world champion. You can be a world champion. Because they can see the demeanor, the training aspect, the heart, the fire. And like I tell fighters sometimes, it's like, with coaches, we're like the Wizard of Oz. You ever watch the Wizard of Oz? I'll tell you how this works. You can either be the scarecrow, okay? We need some brains. Right. You can be the lion. You need some courage. You can be the Tin Man, you need a heart. Or you'd be like, Doherty, you just want to go home. Okay? You got to pick who you want to be, bro. And if you're going to be none of them, you got to be the champion. Pick what you need. When a fighter comes to you, you look at a fighter and say, okay, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a heart? Do you need courage? Do you need brains? Or you need all? You know what I'm saying? Or you just need to go home. And when you have fighters that don't need none of that, they're the fighters that really become champions because they'd already surpassed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, they already said like this is my destiny to become a world champion.
Yeah.
You know, and like we were saying before, you can't play boxing, so they got to be all the way into it in order to be that champion. And you know, I see within Kobe that he has that work ethic, like you said, the heart, and like you said, you test them against guys that are here in the Washington D.C. area that has one of the deepest and most talented fighters in the country.
From 147 down. From 147 down. He's right with everyone. And really a lot of that came from, I think, to spawn a lot with Gary Russell. You know what I'm saying? Dude, days, and especially with him and his brothers. Day in and day out, man. We going to the gym like, yo, what we gonna do today? Work on your skills. And the thing about it would become with fighting styles. Like some days I would just say, I just need you to fight this style only. He get crap beat out of him because he's trying to perfect how to fight this style. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I need you to fight this style. I need you to fight this. Okay, now I need you to follow 3 styles. That's what happened. Now you get doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes you handicap your fighter. I just need you to use left arm. That's it. Don't use no right arm, right hand. Just left hand the whole 3 rounds. Not knowing what the other fighter is doing. And the thing about it, I can tell you this joke. One time we spawned with little Gary. And Gary Russell is so freaking good, dude. So fast. The whole round, he's like, whoop, 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 whoop. And I can hear his dad calling the codes off. And I know exactly what he's saying because we trained together forever, right? Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, Kobe, blah, blah, blah. So him and Kobe is in the ring like this. Nobody punching because all little Gary was doing was working on his defense, working on his move, blocking, moving, block, block, block for the whole round. He was even trying to hit Kobe because I already got that. I was like, oh, you could. Kobe, you do the same thing. So both of them in the ring, just moving, throwing no punches. And it was so funny watching that, because I was like, his dad's like, oh, I see you, Floyd, I see you. I'm like, man, I got this. Mm-hmm. You working on your stuff in sparring. I need to work on my stuff in sparring. It's not about who wins the sparring session. It's who learns the most out of their sparring session. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because when you go in the ring, if you're injured, one arm, left arm, any arm hurt, what you gonna do? You got to be able to get out of the way, duck shot, block shot, whatever. And all of that comes in sparring, working on your skills.
And you talk about those styles, and if, like you said, if for some reason a fighter gets injured, or they injure their arm or their hand, and so they'll have to, do something in order to, like say, if I have my left hand hurt, I got to do something in order to protect my hand or my arm. Yep. Then use my right and continue to use my right. Get to the inside and use my right.
This fighter named Luis Oliveras, right? Luis Oliveras, he's over in where's Luis? Anyway, so Luis coming to train with me, okay? I'm from Arizona. We're getting ready for Olympic trials. Going to Olympic trials. His dad would let me know he hurt his shoulder, you gotta get surgery, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, we can't get on surgery right now. We're getting ready for Olympic trials. He hurt his left arm. I'm like, Louis, you got to fight right-handed or something, dude. You just got to fight southpaw. But I can't fight southpaw. I said, well, you got a month to learn how to fight southpaw. I said, even if we go to Olympic trials and you lose in the first round, or even if you lose, at least you were there. You gave it a try.
Right.
Although you hurt your arm. So the whole time we're working southpaw. I'm teaching him southpaw. He's working on his punches. Dude, we go to Olympic trials. The kid won a bronze medal. He won a bronze, third best in America. My thing is this: imagine if he didn't go.
Hey, it'd be like the same, the same story that we were talking about of you not being able to go to the Olympics, representing the Bahamas, man. He could have probably, quit,
But you know what?
from that point.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you this too. The thing about it with life is this: everybody has crossroads in life. If I didn't go to the Olympics, I swear to you, I don't know where it would have happened. And that, guess what? That was '92 Olympics, dude. That was the first Dream Team. That was Michael Jordan. That was Oscar De La Hoya. That was, I would have been there, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have been there. But I didn't go. But if I did go, my life might have been totally different. I might not have want to come to Washington, D.C. I might have go to Canada to my brother. Or I might have go to New York to my grandma and box over there. Or a coach might have picked me up and take me somewhere else. So this life I'm living now would have might never happened. I would have never met you or nobody. You know what I'm saying? But everybody has their course in life, their destiny in life that they're gonna have to go through. It's just making decisions which way you go. Do you go left? Do you go right? Whatever road you jump on, you have to see it through. You know? And that's one thing. I mean, like with me as life go by, I try to learn from the crossroads of life, because I call them the crossroads of life. Each road you jump on, you got to figure out if you're going to stay on this road or you're going to get off the road. And every human goes through that. Because you think about it, the earth that we living on, we're like aliens. We're visiting Earth. We're visitors to this earth between 50 to 100 years. A lot of people are not going to see 50 years. A lot of people are not going to make it to 100. But it's what you do when you're here, what you do while you're on Earth, how many people you can help, how many things you can do to let your light shine while you're on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not about how much money you make, it's what you do. Because once you're said and done and you're gone, it's like, what's your legacy? What have you done?
Yeah, you know what have you done? Who have you touched? Who have you inspired?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it's all about there. And and I see that with you, and like who you've been able to coach and work with, and like I see your relationship between you and Kobe, that like you really touch him as far as like not just what he does inside the ring, but outside the ring as well. So that's something that I just see there that's developed over time, and you see where it is now.
I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this with you. I'm gonna share this with you, and like a lot of the YouTubers and people out there on the internet. Here's the deal with me and Kobe. Back in 1988, I went to Barbados to box. I was 17 years old. No, sorry, it was 1986. I was 16 years old because the 88 was getting ready for Olympus. 86, I was 16. I went to Barbados. I have a picture right here in my gym. When I was 16 years old, I was boxing this guy from Barbados for the finals. I lost, and I was like, man, my hand is down, and I'm looking at the guy like this. Right behind me is a whole rack of Barbados people, fighters, boxers. Kobe and Dad is sitting right behind me, and with his stance like this. Kobe and Dad were the same age. He was a boxer during that time. He was in the lighter weight division from me, but he's fighting for the Barbados team. What if I to say to him when I was 16 years old, your unborn son someday will be living in America with me? Imagine how crazy that is. That's one. Number two, Kobe's father and mother anniversary is on April 4th. My anniversary is on April 4th. Kobe's father is 49. I'm 49. His sister's birthday is on the 29th of December. My birthday is on the 29th of December. So Kobe is 28 years old. He's October 20th. My son is 28 years old. He's October 22nd. Kobe's sister is 23 years old. My daughter is 23 years old. Dude, what kind of Twilight Zone is this?
Yeah.
Kid lives with me.
Everything connected with that. Everything.
But I mean, dude, we met in India. We met in India. He was in the military. Right after he left the military, he flew right and came to America for boxing. So our bond is way beyond boxing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whether you box, stop boxing today or tomorrow, it doesn't even matter. Your life will go on and I'll be a part of your life regardless. You know what I'm saying? But while we're on this road, this journey, let's see it through. Let's make it happen. You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's how show you how small the world is, how big it is, but how small it is. What's the likelihood of all of that stuff happening, just happening? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. For real.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yeah, it's something to, have that type of story. And like you said, it just all connected at this particular point to, where, like you were talking about, like forks in the road, the decisions that you made at these particular points in your life got you to this point right now. And so, and you see like how everything has turned out for you, man. And, you're doing anything here with training, you also teaching, you're in fitness, was it boxing world of fitness, right?
Yeah. I do online. Well, I do right now. I'm doing online classes because the gym. So people call me, have classes online. I mean, and it's funny. Online is so cool because you can train people in the Bahamas, and people in Germany, and people in New York, DC, Maryland, and everybody all grouped up in one spot. And all, hey, let's go work out. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's like right now, everything is the new norm. We are living the new norm. So it's like the bubble. It's like you got to break out of the bubble. You got to try to figure out what is your new norm for you, and try to make it happen while this is going on. Because if the world ever comes back together, hopefully it does. But at least you already start to phase into the new norm that they're making.
Yeah, but you were able to adjust or like adapt, but at the same time you were able to expand, because at first you had your classes and they were all at the gym, but now with you being able to do things on video, you could market yourself anywhere and everywhere now, all over the world.
I'm talking to this kid from Nigeria. Him and his whole crew trying to work out with me at 11 o'clock. My time is 11 o'clock. His time is like 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. His time. Okay. So while I'm training, he's in Nigeria. Another kid over in Senegal, in Africa. And dude, I mean, it kind of like breaks my heart, but at the same time, it's like I wish I could do so much more, for these kids, because they just like my people, oh my God, and they're in Africa, and they're like, oh my God, you want to do more for them, but at least try to talk to them and try to make them feel good for the day and let them know you're here. Just pick up the phone and call.
Sometimes that positive vision is, enough for them to, get through at that particular point. And then from there, you'll be able to move forward to see what else is available for you to do in order to help them out. But sometimes that positive vision of, a person that looks like them is enough for them to keep them going, because a lot of times they be, depressed and whatnot because they don't see that positive vision or that positive image anywhere around them. So if they're able to see somebody else that looks like them, that's able to do what you do or do what I do, then that could motivate them to try to do what we do,
Yeah, you know what? Yesterday, I was talking to this little kid from Nigeria, okay? Dude, it almost broke my heart. I mean, it's like, for me, it's 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's like for him, no, it was like 9 o'clock. For him, it was like 3 o'clock. He's looking at me, Coach, I haven't ate since last night. This kid is telling me he didn't eat anything since last night. And I'm like, man, dude. I'm trying to figure out how to send some money to you, or send you some money online, or try to get you something to eat, right? And I'm like, I mean, my heart is just dropping. It's like, it's so heavy. It's like, God, it's like, we're in America, and man, we can get some. We can McDonald's, we can get something to eat, but I'm looking at the kid and saying to myself, they used to be me. Because when I lived in the country, you know how it is in the Bahamas, bro. I mean, we're not a third world country, but it depends on where you are in the Bahamas. You know,
in the Bahamas,
back
which island you at, you know?
Man.
You know, it could be, you know, from Grand Bahama or, you know.
I lived in the country, man, life was hard as hell. Dude, if I ever see an American athlete, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Oh my God, American athlete, oh! I'm going crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Wishing someday somebody can help me. You know what I'm saying? But so now that's what I say, you know, as far as helping kids around the world or even here in America, going to schools, doing career days at schools, it's a thing. It's like you have to do it, you know? Try to touch somebody, try to help.
Yep, you know, find a way to inspire the youth, one way or another, man. You know, so.
My bad. So it's like we go straight from talking boxing to talking about, you know, what we do, and really all of that comes down to it as far as, you know, what boxing comes around, because boxing is one thing, you know. But helping these other kids out here, because I mean, the Errol Spence of the world, dude. Okay, quick story. Errol Spence. We're like.
Hold on, you still there? See if the connection's still with us. Yeah. All right. You back?
Yeah. No, the charges. Yeah, battery. Hold on. Okay, good. Okay, I'm here.
All right.
So, me and Errol Spence, we're at the Olympic trials. First, we're at the Nationals. Me and his father going at it, because I'm letting his father know, my fighter, Luis, we're going to beat him. We can whoop Errol's butt, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Shit, Errol beat us. Damn. We go to Olympic trials. I'm looking at Errol's father again, Big Errol, and also his coach. I'm like, yo, we got you on this one. Damn, he beat us again. Right? We go to Azerbaijan for the World Games. So I see Big Errol, you know, I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, Floyd, man, I'm here, man. I'm like, you know, trying to get a hotel to stay at. You know, I'm looking for a hotel. I'm like, yo, I mean, Bahamas put us up in rooms. I got my own room. Dude, why don't you just stay with me? Okay, I'll stay with you. Man, me and Errol bound together for 2 or 3 weeks. Me and Big Errol. Going to fights, hanging out every day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we bonded. You know what I'm saying? We go to all of the parties, the boxing parties and everything. And it was just a great time, man. And just to see what his son has become, what Errol Spence has become after that, after 2012, is amazing, you know? But we'll never change. Our experience will never go away. Because you know what? I was there for him. He was there for me. We was there for each other. You know, because when you put it to you this way, when you're in a foreign country, like say Russia or anywhere else in those big tournaments, dude, the world is against you, bro. It's like you against the world because you're fighting in the World Games or the Olympics. So it's extremely hard, man. Extremely hard. Yeah. Yep. So look at me. Yep. Just a lot of
man.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a great story, man. You know, bonding with Errol Senior. You know.
Yeah.
I know you do have them, and we got to catch up sometime to do those things. But you know what? Once this whole thing clears up, hopefully it clears up over there in Maryland or something, man. Because I don't know, man. They tripping out there in Maryland. I'll be back, back out there to the gym, man, and we'll rap 1-on-1. You know what I mean? So that we get catch up as far as like with the stories and all of that. So I'll be looking forward to that, man.
It's all good. Phone call away, bro.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Hey, it's 8:30, man. But had you here for good hour plus, man, and Thank you very much for coming on and being part of the conversation. Giving us everything as far as like training, being with Kobe, working with Kobe, the stories out in the Olympic Games, and all around the world. And the stuff that you're talking about with inspiration too. That's something that I don't think people see as far as like having that type of vision, or being that person that says, hey, I was able to go from this to this. And so you could do the same thing too, no matter where you're at. Because you were talking about the people in Nigeria or in Senegal. And they could be that too because they see you doing it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know what? Let's go last fighter. Let's call him Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford. Dude, we're at the PAL tournament in Oxnard, California. This is like 2007 at the PAL tournament. 2007 or 6, one of them. Alan Russell, Gary Russell's brother, about to fight Terrence Crawford, right? Every single time I pass Terrence Crawford, Alan, yo, I'm like really messing with him, right? Alan can't beat me, man. Alan cannot beat me. Nobody can beat me. Alan can beat me. I'm like, man, Terrence, Alan gonna smash you, bro. Dude, it's funny when you look back at where we used to be, where the kids used to be, and where they are now. It's just a road, man. You gotta continue on the road. You know what I'm saying? And looking at Terrence Crawford from an amateur there to a world champion to a world superstar now, and he's always knew he was going to become a superstar. Just like say Gary Russell. Gary Russell was the same way. You could not tell Gary he was not going to be a superstar, bro. For real. Right. You could not tell him that. Unless you play chess with him. So as a champion, it starts up here. If you're a champion, it got to start here. And once you done believe it, achieve it, dream it, believe it, achieve it, it's there. It's like what Wilder says. You got to believe it, achieve it, bro. It's there.
What is it? See it, believe it, receive it. See it, believe it, receive it, or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's real, dude. It's real. And all of those champions have the same story. It's the same thing. They got to believe it. I mean, me and Gary used to walk around. Anybody look at him. You remember when Kanye West song came out that nobody can stop me, I'm the best, or whatever? Kanye's like, nobody can stop me. We walked all the way through the Olympic trials singing that song every single day. Gary will walk up to all the fighters and look at him. You next. I'm beating you. I'm like, yo, Gary, who we got next? Who we got next? He's done. And it's that attitude, that willpower just pushes you all the way through because you already speak it. You already said it. So now you got to put your actions, which your mouth already put you, because your mouth already put you out there. So now your training, your hard work has to actually make it happen. It's like you got to manifest and making it happen. Just like right now with Kobe, no matter what, you talk to me 2 years from now or 3 years from now, Kobe is a world champion or 2-time world champion. And we can go back at this tape and you'll say, well, coach, dang, you did say Kobe's. I told you he was going to be a world champion, 2 or 3-time world champion. And it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen.
Because, like you said, I mean, he believes it. And actually, it's speak it, believe it, receive it that Wilder says. But, I mean, I see it, but I see it with Kobe, like I was saying before. And so, and, we talk off camera, and I pretty much gave you the plan, or sent you the plan for that to happen. So maybe we could think about that a little bit later and see how that goes. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for Kobe and Soldier Breedy, though, man.
Yeah, man.
But
appreciate it.
Yeah, but thanks very much, Coach Floyd, for being part of this conversation, man. And like I said, we'll be able to catch up later on down the line. And once things start up and Kobe has a fight, I'm gonna go right to you, man.
Oh, definitely. And like I say, appreciate it, man. Appreciate what you're doing. Tell all the young kids out there, man, dream big. make it into reality, because it will happen no matter what you say, what you do. I mean, dude, me and little Gary, we're sitting in my car, 2005 or 6, and he's just telling me, man, Coach Floyd, I'm gonna be a world champion. I said, yeah, you can be. And I'm like, look at this little dude telling me he can be a world champion. But I'm like, you know what? He's perhaps going to be a world champion. Look at him today. He's a world champion. But
and the longest reigning world champion right now.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So good. Appreciate it. But listen, we'll talk later, man. Take care. Nice talking to you.
All right, no doubt.
All right, take care of yourself, bro.
All right, you too, man.
All right, no problem.
So, man, there we go, man. That's my man, Coach Floyd Seymour, from the 242, Bahamas till he died. And like I said, he trains Kobe Social Breeding, who is undefeated 15-0 in the featherweight division. Like I said, he was scheduled to have a fight at the MGM National Harbor on Saturday, March 14th. But due to the whole thing with COVID-19, that fight got canceled. And so we're going to see what's going to be next for Kobe Breeding. Once the action picks back up, because, like I said, here next Tuesday, you're going to have Shakur Stevenson, who Kobe Breeding had, trained or had sparring sessions with. Shakur Stevenson is going to be in action here on June 9th at the MGM Grand Conference, or the MGM Grand Conference Center Ballroom, or whatever they call it. They call it like 50 different names from like 2013 up until now. But who cares? They're going to be hosting fights on June 9th, June 11th, June 16th, June 18th. Like I said, headlined by Shakur Stevenson versus Felix Caraballo. And the co-feature is Michaela Mayer going up against Helen Joseph. Michaela Mayer is I would kind of like say the #1 contender for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship. She was like supposed to be lined up for a title shot, but business is business sometimes, and kind of talked about that in part of the Boxing Source radio show podcast. It's now available on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Anchor.fm. And you're going to have that. You'll also talk about, the undercard. They're going to have Jared Anderson at heavyweight going up against Donnie Langston there. And also you're going to have Guido Vianello versus Don Hainsworth. Don Hainsworth is somebody that a good friend of mine is very familiar with. And he says that Don is going to be going up to Vegas, and he's just going to be there and show up. Hopefully not, but that's what, my guy says about Hainsworth. So, but we'll see how that works out. I mean, Guido, Vianello is, he went to the Olympics in 2016 through Italy. He's now, 6-0 with 6 KOs. But I don't know, man. Maybe he's gonna get a 7th KO or something, because it looks like, Don Hainsworth is, kind of been up and down or sketchy when it comes to certain fights or, certain situations. You also have Rubensy Ramirez from Cuba, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, the guy that did defeat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympic Games. He's going to be part of this card too against Yuri Andujar. And you're going to have Kevin Metcalf against Quatavius Cash. Now, just a second here. Quatavius Cash kind of seems like a familiar name for me, that I might have seen him in action before, but not all too sure. But that just kind of like seemed like a familiar name to me. But I thought I saw him in action around this area, but nah, he's had most of his fights over in the Atlanta area as he's from Atlanta. Um, so you do have that. And for June 11th at the same venue, you're going to have Jesse Magdaleno there fighting against NFL Vicente. Yeah, that's what it says over there. NFL Vicente, right? Jesse Magdaleno is there at 27-1. I think, yeah, Magdaleno is actually currently the #1 contender for the WBC Featherweight Championship. And we talked about the thing about Gary Russell Jr. and what he said in the podcast or the interview that we've had with him, a couple months ago, that he's planning on moving up to 135. And with him moving up to 135, that would leave that WBC Featherweight Championship vacant, where right now, Jesse Magdaleno is the #1 contender. Kid Galahad is the #2 contender. They might be able to see if they can work out having a fight between those two guys for that WBC Featherweight Championship if Gary Russell Jr. moves up to lightweight. So you could have, two vacant titles, like I was talking with Floyd Seymour about, 2 vacant titles in the featherweight division, or up to 3. As well, you're going to have 3 anyway, as Leo Santa Cruz has already moved up to 130. So they already had Kanzu kind of planning to be elevated to the super champion for the WBA, and he is slated to fight Josh Warrington in the unification bout. And so you would have those 2 guys fighting each other for the IBF and WBA titles, and the WBC and WBO titles will be vacant. Like I said, for the WBC side, you have Jesse Magdaleno, their #1, Kid Galahad, their #2, former mandatory contender, Toussaint Youngbayar, who lost to Gary Russell Jr. in February, they're at #3. And for the WBO, kind of like said this in the podcast, #1 contender is Irish McCollum, and you have Ryan Ross at #2. #3 is Carl Frampton, who's going to be moving up to face the WBO Super Featherweight Champion Jamal Herring sometime later this year. And you have Jesse Magdaleno there currently at #4. So that's the situation there at the featherweight division right now. And that's why, I'll talk with Coach Floyd about his fighter, Kobe Soldier Breedy, being at this particular time, trying to take advantage of how open the featherweight division can be at this particular point with the plans of Shakur Stevenson and Gary Russell Jr. So that's what's happening there. That's the main event. Like I said, Jesse Magdaleno versus Jennifer Vicente at featherweight. And then the co-feature bout will be Adam Lopez versus Louis Correa. Adam Lopez, who was a late replacement for his fight against Oscar Valdez. He was able to drop Oscar Valdez in the 2nd round before ending up being stopped in the 7th round of that fight last November. You're going to also have Brian Lua. Like I said, that's what it says over there. Brian Lua against Dan Murray in the lightweight division. You're going to have Gabriel Muratalla at bantamweight going up against Fernando Robles. And from California-based lightweights, it says scheduled for either 4 or 6 rounds is going to be Eric Mondragon or Mondragon. Aaron is going to be Eric Mondragon against Mike Sanchez. Eric Mondragon. Oh my God. All right. So that's the current slate that we have here so far from Top Rank. I saw that the plans for Dylan White against Alexander Povetkin looks like that may be for August 15th. Was originally scheduled to be on May 2nd of this year. But of course, I got canceled or basically scrapped or delayed. So they're going to, pretty much put that on there. It says they're talking about, things with Tyson Fury, saying that he's going to take the fight with Deontay Wilder, the third fight with Deontay Wilder. I'm kind of concerned about this particular fight, not because of, what could happen or whatever it is from a in the ring standpoint, but from a business standpoint. I talked about this in social media because there was some recent comments from Frank Warren about a potential matchup between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And Frank Warren was saying that a fight between Fury and Joshua would have to be like a 50-50 split. And I'm like, no, it really can't. Because Tyson Fury, even though he got the new, that deal with Top Rank, how good of the return has it been for Top Rank while having Tyson Fury there? Mainly, they were just doing that for Tyson Fury to get a better deal in the rematch against Deontay Wilder that was February 22nd, 2020. Okay? But when it comes to the other fights that have happened up to that particular point, has Top Rank made any money? Has ESPN made any money? No. Nobody was really there for those fights, that he had against Tom Schwartz and Aldo Wallin. But you have this fight against Deontay Wilder, and we saw how much was put into that particular fight, how much of the advertising and marketing dollars or effort was put in for that particular fight. And they expected a certain number of pay-per-view buys to actually match how much they invested in that particular fight. And they didn't quite get that. So with that being said, you had this third fight between these two guys. And it's supposedly, a joint pay-per-view. Now, both of those networks are pretty much under the same, banner, so to speak, under Disney or whatnot. But still, they still have to go ahead and put money towards, those to advertise the fight. You'll have football back in session and everything like that for them to, get in those time slots to promote the fight. But given the results of that second fight and the expectation that many people have of the third fight, will it be as successful as they want it to be? Especially if they want to put in a certain amount of money towards it. This is not like, how they had got time slots at the Super Bowl to promote Wilder Fury 2. They don't need to do that anywhere near that for this. But still, there's a lot of money that's invested in the purchase for both of those fighters at a minimum of $30 million, probably more than that, to two fighters where, like I said before, a lot of boxing fans had the expectation that Tyson Fury is going to defeat Deontay Wilder once again. So with that being said, yeah, Tyson Fury could, be the WBC champion, be the Ring Magazine champion. But does he pull enough to have a 50-50 split with an Anthony Joshua, who has pretty much sold out Madison Square Garden against Andy Ruiz? That was a replacement fighter, replaced Jarrell Miller. And he was still able to have all of those people inside Madison Square Garden. Somebody that is not from the U.S. Yeah, this is not like a Gennady Golovkin who's had a good amount of fights in the U.S. before fighting, the likes of, David Lemieux talking about he good boy. I fight him, you don't fight. He good boy. No, this is Anthony Joshua who had pretty much had his fights over in England, the O2, you know, over there in Wembley Stadium and all of that. And then he was able to parlay not being at Wembley Stadium and then have his fight over at Madison Square Garden. And you saw how many people were there at Madison Square Garden. That scene, Madison Square Garden, will be like, I'll never forget it. I mean, here we are. This is a full year, 365 days plus since Andy Ruiz stopped Anthony Joshua in the 7th round to win those unified titles. I'll never forget that, man. You know, but now with Joshua winning the titles back, he still has the momentum, the sponsorships, the investments towards him, all of that. So with him being the basically the big guy, the money guy in the heavyweight division, he's the one that has the better split, no matter who ends up winning Wilder Fury 3 or Fury Wilder 3. So what Frank Warren said about Tyson Fury getting a 50-50 split with Anthony Joshua, nah, I don't see that happening. Really don't see that happening. What else is there? You know what I'm saying? Clarissa Shields says, I'm going to whoop Marie Ivnikar's ass. Well, we'll see when this thing is going to, happen. It was slated for May 9th. We did talk about this with Dimitri Salita, head of Salita Promotions, who does promote Clarissa Shields. And, it says that, they're going to fight, like I said, on May 9th, but it says that it'll be basically a rain check on that. So she says that she's a very disciplined fighter, and people don't give her enough credit for that because of the trash talking that she does. But how does one become a 3-division champ while moving down in weight? I don't drink. I never smoked in my life, and I haven't had meat in over 9 months. She's kind of, talked about her diet on social media too. She, says that she drinks a gallon of water a day. So she keeps around that, weight, 160 and 154, pretty much around that same range that she's been pretty much for her whole career. So she's not gonna really be that much of a all for weight when it comes to her when she gets into the ring, maybe against Marie Ivnicar or someone else. Now there was one fighter that is looking for a challenge with Clarissa Shields. No, it isn't who I've had on the show before with Raquel Miller or with Tika Hemingway. Shout out to Tika Hemingway. Condolences to our family. Her father passed recently. It is the Catskiller, Jessica McCaskill. That's right. Jessica McCaskill, who was fighting at 140, was slated to ever fight against the undisputed welterweight champion Cecilia Brækhus over at the MGM National Harbor. That was slated for April 24th, I think it was. And that fight got scrapped. That whole card got scrapped. And we're gonna see if they do reschedule that particular bout. But if they don't, then the Catskiller is saying that, hey, I know that Clarissa Shields was talking about coming down to 147 to fight Cecilia Brækhus. But why not, have something with me, when I'm ready. I could get up there and I could scrap with you. And, for me, Jessica McCaskill is a dog in the ring. I've seen her fight there against Anahe Sanchez over at the MGM National Harbor. Was it last year, a couple years ago? That was one of the best fights I had seen for that particular year. So I think that, Jessica McCaskill would be, wanted to have some of that smoke there against Clarissa Shields. So we'll be looking forward to that as well. But with that being said, I'll pretty much close this live, version of the midweek report here for the Boxing Source. We will have the podcast live on Sunday. And we're going to have there Adrian Clark from the Texas area. It was like a manager, promoter there in the Texas area, knows about the business of boxing, ins and outs of boxing, has a book out called Protect Yourself at All Times. So we're going to be talking about that and more on Sunday live. So look forward to that. And we're going to be working on getting some more guests on to the podcast, and maybe some more guests that will be on here for this midweek report session that I have every Wednesday. I'm going to start to have it more consistently every Wednesday around this particular time. So be on the lookout for that. And on that note, folks, that's it. I'm out. Peace.